We're now recording.
You ready to go, Brad?
Yes, just want to quickly go over, this is where the Q and answer panel is, and the raise your hand is in the participants area. And here's our agenda. So we're ready to go, Phil.
Here we go. I'd like to call to order the December 14th, 2020 public meeting of the Whitehall Township Board of Commissioners. First, we'll do a pledge of allegiance to the American flag, and then followed by a moment of thanks for members of the armed forces, especially those in harm's way. First responders, healthcare workers, food supply workers, our municipal staff and employees who are helping our community and country through these trying times. Also this evening, in thanks and remembrance of Donnie Shambo, who volunteered with our fire department, and for Herbert Saylor, who was a 50-year member with the fire police. Keep them in our thoughts and their families. Let us start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'll read the HUD statement. Whitehall Township has an obligation to affirmatively further fair housing and to review all land use applications in accordance with federal civil rights statutes. This includes taking meaningful actions that overcome patterns of segregation and foster inclusive communities free from barriers that restrict access to opportunity based on protected characteristics. The township, in its land use decisions, does not discriminate against persons based on race, color, natural origin, religion, sex, disability, or familial status, and reviews all land use applications in accordance with federal civil rights statutes. Public comments made on the basis of bias and stereotype concerning people within these protected classes will not be taken into consideration by the township in its deliberations. All right, I'd like to go for approval of minutes of the November 2020 meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Warren.
Do I have a second?
I'll second Marks.
Any comments or corrections from the board? There being none, Mr. Secretary, please poll the board.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner D,
Aye.
Commissioner Attia,
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher,
Aye.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. President Ginder.
Yes.
Votes are 7 ayes, 0 nays for that motion.
Next, I need to remark that an executive session was held by the Board of Commissioners on the 2nd of December, 2020 for legal matters. Moving on to the agenda, courtesy of the floor. Is there anybody here for courtesy of the floor? Brad?
We have one person, Lorianne Fennell.
All right, could she go forward with what she wants to discuss?
Hi, everybody.
She's unmuted.
Lorianne Fano, 3107 North 3rd Street, Whitehall. Bear with me, I have dogs in my background here, so I'm trying to talk to you. As you know, the coronavirus pandemic is really hitting hard. It's even hitting our township even harder. And I want to make sure that you guys are aware the businesses, especially along Lehigh Street, that are not following guidelines, especially the mini mart. When I go in there, they have 3 gaming machines and they are having people in there without their masks on playing these games. It's been on more than one occasion. I actually texted the mayor, let him know, and I've actually called the Department of Health about it too. This cannot be tolerated in our township with this virus is spreading as it is right now. The second thing that I'm going to talk about is the police department. I have respect for the police department, but not with what happened to my son, who's 10, that was assaulted. He was sucker punched in the back of the head, spun around by his hoodie, and put into a life-threatening chokehold. And that's disturbing to me as a mom. No child should have that type of experience. And I was promised a fair and thorough investigation by Deputy Chief Mazzatelli, and I feel he didn't do it. Due to the fact that the witnesses that were there, he did not talk to them at all. He didn't talk to my daughter. He didn't talk to my son. He didn't talk to the other two witnesses himself. To me, that's not a fair and thorough investigation. And just before that, this is also responsible of Officer Jordan. In my personal opinion, it's just my opinion only, I think Jordan should be fired, and I think Mazzatelli should be demoted. And then with that being said, is there a right to know to see who the other candidates were for deputy chief? I don't know if that's under that guideline or not. I think that's all I have to say right now. I'm sorry I'm quick, and you guys are going to miss me for the next couple months. I won't be on Mondays anymore. So God bless, stay healthy, stay safe. Lee, I wish you good health for the next 14 days. That's it. Thank you for listening, and have a good meeting.
Anybody else there for public comment, Brad?
That was all.
Okay, moving on. Public hearing and voting on ordinances. Bill number 33, 2020. An ordinance of the Township of Whitehall in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania adopting the 2021 annual budget and appropriating specific sums estimated to be required for the specific purposes of the township government, hereinafter set forth during the 2021 fiscal year. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Marks.
Do we have a second?
I'll second. I'll second, Fisher.
Charles. Comments from the board?
This is John. I just have one comment. Creation budget, we have $165,000 for the pavilion project. This is carryover money. It's a grant. It was like, I think, a $30,000 earmark from the township. We applied for a third grant. That grant will be announced sometime in the spring. If we don't get that grant, I'm afraid if we keep deferring the project, we could lose the grants and then jeopardize future grants. So we've had this for 2 years. We're trying to do it mostly grant money, but if we can, I'd like to see that move along this year if possible. That's all I have. And we only have $56,600 of new money for recreation projects. And that's what we spent last year. And so what you see there is most of it's carryover money from prior years and prior projects that haven't been completed. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Any other comments from the board? I have one comment I'd like to make. The Board of Commissioners and the administration and everybody worked very hard on this budget to keep the numbers down and no tax increase. And you know, a lot of the stuff was edgy, but we made it through. And I just want to comment, there was a lot of work put into this, all the way from administration staff and all the way down to the board. And I wish to thank everybody for the manner in which this business was conducted. Any comments from the public? There being none, Mr. Secretary, poll the board.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher,
Aye.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner D, Commissioner D,
Aye.
Commissioner Attia,
Aye.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner, President Ginder.
Yes.
Bill passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Bill number 34, 2020, an ordinance of the Township of Whitehall in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania establishing a fee schedule for the collection of municipal solid waste by the Township of Whitehall. Do I have a motion?
I so move. I was once the head of solid waste, so I figured it was appropriate.
And you are dearly missed there, Commissioner Sloniger. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Warren.
Comments from the board? Any comments from the board? Comments from the public? There being none, Mr. Secretary, please poll the board.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher,
Aye.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Attia,
Yes.
Commissioner D,
Aye.
and President Ginder.
Yes.
Bill passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Bill number 35, 2020, an ordinance of the Township of Whitehall in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, fixing the real estate tax rate for the year 2021. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Marks.
Do I have a second?
I'll second Fisher.
Comments from the board? Any comments from the board? Brad, anybody in the public room for comments?
No comments in the public room.
There being none, Mr. Secretary, please poll the board.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher,
Aye.
Commissioner D,
Aye.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Attia, Commissioner Attia,
Yes.
and President Ginder.
Yes.
Bill passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Bill number 36-2020, an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of a proposal for providing an installation of traffic signal equipment modifications for the Traffic Control Division of the Township of Whitehall. Bid 2020-10 in accordance with section 3.20 of the Home Rule Charter, which requires authorization of acquisitions in excess of $25,000 by ordinance. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Who was that?
Sloniker. Sloniker.
Do I have a second?
I'll second Marks.
Who was that?
Nick D can have it.
Okay.
Comments from the board? Comments, anybody in the public chat room?
We have one. Eric Schlock. I think it's
Please, could you please send through?
you're muted, Eric.
Oh, hi. I apologize. I was trying to type in that I was here for the 1504 MacArthur Road just to alert you. And it must have gone through early.
Okay. Any other comments in the public chat room on bill number 36?
No other.
There being none, Mr. Secretary, please poll the board.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner D,
Aye.
Commissioner Attia,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher,
Aye.
Commissioner Warren, Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
President Ginder.
Yes.
Bill passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Bill number 37-2020, an ordinance deferring the required installation of sidewalks along the West Copley Road and Rook Street frontages of 5305 West Copley Road for a distance of approximately 1,440 feet as required in Chapter 21, Section 21-16 of the Codified Ordinances of Whitehall Township. Do I have a motion?
Yeah.
Who was that? Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Who
Sloniker,
was that?
Sloniker,
Do we have a second?
Second it.
Who was
that?
that? Randy? Discussion from the board, questions from the board.
I do know that I will be voting nay, just because every time we have these meetings, all we get into is, should we have these deferrals? Why can't we get sidewalks here? Why can't we get there? And I just don't feel that they've gone ahead and presented anything. And we've discussed this before, the proximity to the rails to trails. So now's the time to do it because everybody complains later on.
Any other comments from the board? Any comments from the public, Zach, or is the developer here to address anything?
That was Brad, not Zach.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Brad.
That's okay. No other comments.
Is the developer here for this, bill?
Brad, it would be either Lou Rock or I can't remember the man's name from,
His first name was Frank.
yeah, from Skoda. Frank Evans.
That's it.
Okay, I see Lou Rock.
Yeah, so you may want to unmute him.
Just unmuted him.
Yeah, Lou Rock from Lehigh Engineering. Yeah, we've made the proposal. I'm hoping you folks can hear me. Because this lot was part of the development that came through from DBS Enterprises. And none of the other lots within that development had installed sidewalk on it. So we made the request to not also install sidewalk. You get beyond our property heading east, northeast, there is no sidewalk the rest of the way along West Copley Road.
Anybody else wish to have anything to say about these sidewalks?
I just wish we had,
Say again, please.
I just wish we had a little more information on the intentions of the board and sidewalks going up that corridor.
Well, the board has the right to request sidewalks at any time. In my opinion, I would like to see sidewalks on this property because this property is right against the intersection, and it's a bit of a crazy intersection trying to get across for pedestrians and things, just the way it's laid out and the way it had to be. I see a lot of people standing on that side trying to get across at times, especially when there's function at the rail trail. And that's kind of why I see an interest in doing sidewalks on this lot at this time. Whether we go back further on West Copley Road and stuff in the future, that's a discussion for another time, I guess, unless you want to tackle that now. Over. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the commissioner, the developer, or the public?
Bill, I have a question. I guess I know that the developer had mentioned that no other lots there had sidewalk. Did we grant deferrals previously to neighboring lots?
I, for one, would not be able to truthfully answer that question. I mean, you just can't remember that. It's so long ago. If anybody would have knowledge, and I hate to put her on the spot, but maybe Lee would remember, Lee Rackus.
You're not putting me on the spot. Actually, if you think about it, those there were probably a couple of the interior lots that, front the private road that would have gotten them. But the way that we handled sidewalk deferrals at the time that the most of the lots that are, similar in situation as this one, it was handled entirely differently. The developer requested a deferral. It was called a waiver at that time. When the plan was being reviewed by the planning commission would weigh in on whether they felt that was appropriate or not, and that would be part of the resolution of approval. If they did not feel that they were necessary, that was all part of how the plan got approved. It wasn't called out separately like it is now. Obviously, the process that we're in now was a result of litigation. So we changed everything, and it was exercised from the land development resolution and approval process. It became a separate action always before the board. Because if you recall, 10 years ago, that's not how you did it for land developments. It was all part of the plan. So I would venture a guess that yes, sidewalks were probably discussed at that time, but it was not, run up the flagpole the way that it is now. And it was not acted upon the way that it is now. So they weren't proposed and the planning commission supported it. It wasn't shown on the plan. And that's the way they got built.
That was a great explanation.
Okay.
Thanks, Lee.
Any other questions from anybody?
Yeah, real quickly, you said those 10 years ago, those were waivers? Like, we can still at some point mandate sidewalks there, right? Or
Yeah, it was just a matter of terminology. And actually, that's wwhy we pulled back on the quote unquote waiver title, because, not any offense to any of the lawyers in the room, but, you got a lawyer involved and the terminology means everything. And because the ordinance clearly said at any time the board could still require it, it became uncomfortable to call them waivers. And that's why the term was changed to deferral. So,
Okay.
Yeah, it was always that way. It's just that it was cleared up a little bit by titling it correctly.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Lee.
Any other comments? There being no more comments, Mr. Secretary, please poll the board.
Commissioner Sloniker, nay. Commissioner Attia,
No.
Commissioner Marks,
No.
Commissioner Warren,
Nay.
Commissioner Fisher,
Hey,
Commissioner D,
Nay.
and President Ginder.
No.
Bill is defeated, 7 nays, 0 ayes.
Bill number 38, 2020, an ordinance amending Chapter 5, Code Enforcement. Article 6, International Fire Code, to provide for the amendment of the International Fire Code by adopting the International Fire Code, subject to certain insertions, amendments, and deletions. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, D.
Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mark.
Is Chief Nelson with us this evening? Okay. Comments from the board? Any comments from the board? Brad, is anybody in the public chat room for this?
Nothing in the chat room.
There being no comments, Mr. Secretary, please poll the board.
Commissioner D,
Aye.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Attia,
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Fisher,
aye.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
and President Ginder.
Yes.
Bill passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Public hearing and voting on resolutions. Resolution number 3138, a resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Township of Whitehall, reaffirming and reenacting the realty transfer tax, the earned income tax, the per capita tax, the local services tax, and the business privilege tax. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second, Mark.
Discussion from the board. Any discussion from the board? Brad, is there? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Was somebody trying to talk?
No, somebody coughed, that's all.
All right. Brad, is there anybody in the public meeting for talk on this?
No one's in the public for this.
There being no further comments, Mr. Secretary, please poll the board.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher,
Aye.
Commissioner D,
Aye.
Commissioner Attia,
Yes.
Commissioner Ginder, President Ginder.
Yes. Yes.
Resolution passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Resolution number 3139, a resolution adopting the Township of Whitehall Capital Improvement Program, years 2021 through 2025, specifically for the 2021 fiscal year. Do I have a motion?
Make that motion, Warren.
Do I have a second?
I'll second D.
Discussion from the board.
I know we're only voting on 2021, but just want to point out that in 2022 for the recreation, there's only 50,000. In prior years and subsequent years, it was a 150, and that I think that's just a typo.
Let me take a look. That was in 2022.
Yeah, I know we're discussing 2021, but I seen this last year and I didn't call it out.
2021 and 2022. Well, under,
They're just a
it was to be determined, Jeff. In other words, they only knew 2021 when this was put together. Recreations could be determined for the next 4 years. You know, it was what's in front of us at that point.
Every department has a placeholder number. So, yep. Okay, that's fair.
Any other comments from the commissioners? Anybody in the public room, Brad?
Yeah,
For comment?
In the public for comment.
There being no further comments, Mr. Secretary, please poll the board.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner D,
Aye.
Commissioner Attia,
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Fisher,
Aye.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
President Ginder.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Resolution number 3140. A resolution approving the emergency operations plan of Whitehall Township, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Fisher.
We have a second.
I'll second.
Who is that second? I'm sorry.
Attia.
Thank you.
Is Chris Grimm on with us?
Yes, sir.
All right. We may need you, just so you there. Any comments from the board?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks to Chris for all the hard work he did on this and all the hard work he does on it.
And also add all the volunteers that are with Chris on that organization.
And thank you, gentlemen, for that. Appreciate it.
Any other comments from the commissioners?
Yeah, Joe and Phil kind of beat me to the punch, but I also wanted to thank Chris. Do a heck of a job, and the staff and resources of what you do, it's impressive, and the township needs more volunteers like you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the commissioners? Brad, is there anybody in the public chat room wishing to speak on this?
No one wishing to speak on this one.
No further comments. Mr. Secretary, please poll the board.
Commissioner Fisher,
Aye.
Commissioner Attia,
Yes.
Commissioner D,
Aye.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
President Ginder.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Resolution number 3141, a resolution conditionally approving the land development plan of Skoda Contracting located at 5305 West Copley Road, Whitehall, Pennsylvania. Index number 1962-20. Do I have a motion?
Make that motion, Warren.
Do we have a second?
I'll
Do we have
second.
a second?
I'll second Sloniker.
Now, Brad, could we please get the developer or his representative back on?
Lou, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Lou, you're unmuted.
Okay, questions from the board?
Yeah, this is Jeff. I just want to verify with Frank that we are all clear with that overland flow coming from that discharge pipe from the detention basin towards the Ironton Rail Trail. We talked about it last week, and I think you were going to check to make sure that that swell is sufficiently large enough to handle the flow.
Oh yeah, that's more than big enough. That swale used to handle that whole strip of all that property there. Now it's only going to handle this little bit on the corner. So that's plenty big enough.
That's the only question that I had.
Comments from any of the other commissioners? Any comments from the developer?
No, I think we're fine.
All right, Brad, is there any other public comment in the chat room, so to speak?
No other public comments in the chat room.
There being no further comments, Mr. Secretary, please poll the board.
Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
Commissioner Sloniker. Aye. Commissioner Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher.
Aye.
Commissioner Attia.
Yes.
Commissioner D.
Aye.
President Ginder.
Yes.
Resolution passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
And for the developer and owner of this property, we thank you for choosing Whitehall. And we hope you're successful in Whitehall. Thank you again. Welcome to Whitehall.
Thank you very much.
Resolution number 3142, a resolution authorizing an application to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development Recreation Program for the Parkway Pavilion Project. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a
That
motion. Dee.
Warren. I'll take the second, Warren.
Who was the first?
Who was the
Jeff.
first then? I put,
Jeff, you take it. I'll second.
who was second?
Second is D.
Okay. Thank you.
Any comments from the board?
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Going back to what you were talking about earlier, Jeff. What kind of money does the township have to match or meet on this project?
There's technically no match. I think back when we first approved it, we had 2 grants awarded to us. And I think in the last year's budget, there was $30,000 added to that money for site prep and different things to get utilities to the pavilion area. Initially, that work was, we envisioned that it was going to be done in-house. And then it was suggested that we should try to go out and get bids for that work to be done. We did get one bid and use that bid as a placeholder to request an additional grant to build the thing. So we have money to get the utilities and to buy the pavilion kit. And we're just trying to bridge the building aspect of it. If we can't do it in-house, then we have to pay somebody else to do it. And we built bathrooms at Hawkendakwa Park and Egypt Park, and I don't know what the workloads are like, but I think when we ask for these grants, we make a commitment to doing the projects, and DCED awards these projects based on shovel readiness. So if we kick a project down the road, and then we go to them and request a grant for another project, they're going to say, you didn't complete the last one. Why would we award a second one to you? So we're hopeful that we'll get some money on this third grant, but that's to be determined.
Do we have a ballpark? I mean, I know it's all hypothetical, but do we have a ballpark what this is going to cost the township as far as, tying into the sewer, the utilities, water, building the bathrooms? Do we have any idea how much money we're looking at moving forward?
The meter pit for the water was $5,000, and I think we can install the trench. There was a tap-in plan that Carl and some other folks created. There are existing utilities there at the corner of the lot. Like I said, Tony went out and got a bid from a contractor out in Middleburg to build this thing, and I think we can get it sourced for less local. But that number, I think it was like on 150K-ish for a contractor from Middleburg to build it. And that seemed excessively high for that, but I don't know if Jack recalls.
I don't think it was that expensive, but I know it was pretty pricey. And I do agree with you that economy of scale, we could do better somewhere else.
Lee, do you believe that we're going to need a planning module for that, or just because it's a lightly used venue? Or Frank, whoever wants to chime in.
I'm not an expert, and I'll defer to Frank, but I think you will.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Joe. It's going to depend on the EDUs if they're going to see that as significant. It is a standalone lot, which could give us, hold a reserve for us. I'll have to check with. We have an engineer in the office who does nothing but all that sewer work. So let me check with him tomorrow and then give you an answer.
Frank, I just have a question because I don't know this. Do we have a sanitary? Are we going to be able to feed this property by gravity?
Yeah.
Oh, we can. Okay.
Yeah, there's the gravity line comes up to where Commerce Drive is, and then it continues further north to the property right next to the park. In the parking lot, there's the Martin's Potato Roll warehouse.
Right.
Yeah, it comes up to there.
Are we also going to have to acquire an easement?
No, it's
there's a manhole right there.
Yeah, it's in the right of way. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. All right, that's all I have. So,
I guess, does that, when you say lot, is that considered the whole parkway, the 100+ acres?
Right.
So because it's so substantial, Frank, are they going to rule that because of the acreage or because of the usage? You have no way of knowing that, do you?
It's the EDUs, Joe. They're going to rule on the use, the projected usage of the facility.
I got you. So worst case scenario is we're looking at $100,000 to $150,000 to build this after all the grant money, and is that reasonable? Is that a?
I don't think it is reasonable, Joe, and I know that John Rackus had indicated that he believes they can do that if necessary.
You mean build it?
Yeah.
Build it, Mr. Mayor. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We get the money, they build it. Otherwise, we do.
Fair enough.
I do want to thank Jack Gross for working on this resolution.
Jeff, I think I stepped on you. I couldn't hear your.
Oh, I just wanted to thank Jack Gross for gathering the information to prepare this resolution. I know.
All right, any other comments from the board? Any comments from the public, Brad?
No comments from the public.
There being no further comments, Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Warren?
Aye.
Commissioner D?
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher?
Aye.
Commissioner Attia? Commissioner Attia?
Yes.
Commissioner Sloniker? Aye. Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
President Kinder?
Yes.
Resolution passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Under other, motion to approve the appointment of Jose Espinoza to the Whitehall Township Fire Police. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion, Marks.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Who was the second?
Yeah.
Discussion from the board. Any discussion from the board? Brad, is there anybody in from the public? to comment on this?
No one in here from the public commenting.
There being no further comments, Mr. Secretary, please pull the board.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Attia, Commissioner Attia, Commissioner Attia. I see your thumbs up, but you have to be verbal. You have to say yes. I can't hear you.
Brian, say yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner D,
Yes.
Commissioner Fisher,
Aye.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Warren.
Aye.
President Kinder.
Yes.
Motion passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Next, a motion to approve the appointment of Douglas Semek to the Whitehall Township Authority. Term expiring 12/31/2025. So I have a motion.
I'll make that motion. Fisher.
I'll second it, Warren.
Comments from the board? Any comments from the board? Any comments from the public, Brad?
No comments from the public.
There being none, Mr. Secretary, please poll the board.
Commissioner Fisher,
Aye.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Attia,
Yes.
Commissioner D,
Aye.
President Ginder.
Yes.
Motion passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Next, a motion to approve the appointment of Sean Yanis to the Whitehall Township Recreation Commission, senior citizen, term expiring 9/30/2023. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, D.
Second,
I'll second. Sloniker,
comments from the board? Any comments from the board? Brad, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
There being none, Mr. Secretary, please poll the board.
Commissioner D,
Aye.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Attia, Commissioner Attia,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher,
Aye.
President Ginder.
Yes.
Motion passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Motion to approve the appointment of Sean Yanis to the Whitehall Township Planning Commission as alternate, term expiring 12/31/2023. Do I have a motion?
I'll move. Sloniker,
Do I have a second?
I'll second Marks.
Comments from the board?
I have one, President Kinder.
All
I
right.
just want to, all the previous appointees, I just want to thank everybody for volunteering. Obviously, Ms. Jonas is volunteering for 2 positions, but we need more volunteers out there. So thank you all for stepping up, and I encourage anybody else to volunteer on these boards and commissions. So thank to all the new appointees.
Any other comments from the board? Brad, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
There being none, Mr. Secretary, please poll the board.
Commissioner Sloniker, aye. Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Warren,
Aye.
Commissioner Fisher,
Aye.
Commissioner Attia,
Yes.
Commissioner D,
Aye.
and President Ginder.
Yes.
Motion passes 7 ayes, 0 nays.
Number 4, discussion item, zoning ordinance amendment, 1504 MacArthur Road. I believe there is somebody in the public chat that wishes to speak on this also?
Yes, we do. I'll have them unmuted now. Go ahead. You're unmuted, Eric.
Okay, hey, thanks. Thanks for allowing me.
Hold on. Could you please identify yourself and your address?
Sure. Eric Schock, S-C-H-O-C-K, 645 West Hamilton Street, Suite 800, Allentown, the office of Fitzpatrick, Lenz and Buba.
Okay, so you are the attorney representing on this?
Correct. BB Allen LLC, which is a property owner in the township.
Okay, but would you like to go first and kind of explain why you are before us with this?
Absolutely. To my understanding of your procedure is it's a fairly finite request this evening. So my client has filed to seek an amendment to the zoning ordinance, and tonight we're asking that you refer it to the Legal and Legislative Committee to kind of take the first step. The background on why it has been filed is this owner is the owner of the property that currently contains the Best Buy. And in all candor, because of the pandemic, because of the retail and e-commerce, he's looking at the long-term viability of the property. And if there were no longer a retail interest at this in the future, he wanted to be proactive. We had talked with your staff a while back with a different proposal that probably was a little bit more reaching than this. This proposal is essentially what I'll call just asking to have some flexibility in your commercial district for what we call the coordinated development. So in other words, kind of a mixed use. All of the uses he's proposing are uses that are allowed in your commercial district, but it would allow them in a little bit different combination to give a developer some flexibility. You know, in all candor, at this point, we're not asking that you say that we don't need you to say we like it, we don't like it, etc. All we're asking is you give it a chance by letting us start off at the committee you've established, the Legal and Legislative Committee, to try to explain to them where his thoughts are and see if anybody ends up liking it and agreeing with us. So no obligation, but I don't think, based on what he's asked, to try to do something a little bit more of a mixed use, but still commercial, fitting in with that area, that it's much of a reach. And it might be something that when we go to the committee, go to the planning commission, and maybe end up back here, people will say, hey, this does make sense. And maybe it is something, or some variation of this might work to give us one more option to really keeping that commercial district the way we want it. So we're hoping to just get the nod from you to take that first step. I'm glad to answer any questions beyond that.
Any questions from the Board of Commissioners?
No, Phil, being the chair of L&L, I don't have a problem with him bringing all his information forward. If he provides it to Larissa, we can get it on next month's agenda and just sit down and look at it.
Great.
Any other comments from the commissioners?
Quick question, Commissioner Fisher. So is there like a solid plan of what would like to be done if this like zoning change is granted, or is it kind of just still a little up in the air? What I saw said possibly like hotel, office space, mixed use. Is that kind of what they're leaning towards, or what's the thinking?
Yeah, the hotel is probably from his perspective, the hotel is what he was thinking would kind of be the linchpin. The other uses, obviously, number one, he has an existing user, and we'd have to see how that unfolded and what the economy would be like in the future. But the hotel is what kind of started this off, because he thought it was a great location, potentially for a very nice hotel, but said, I need to make it something more than that, which is why he came up with this idea to kind of show what it could be and give some flexibility. And that's one of the things we'll discuss with the committee. But he did think the hotel was kind of what started his thought process down this road.
So would the Best Buy come down, like be removed, or would it still be held on this lot, or does that depend on the economy?
It depends on what happens exactly. So I know they have they're an existing user. They have a lease. He doesn't know if at the end of that lease they'll be there or not. They may want to be there, and they may say, "We want a new building. Work us into your plan." He's not positive. He's just trying to keep himself flexible because he's concerned with just waiting right to the last year. Best Buy saying, "Hey, I found a new place somewhere else," and he's just got that box with no idea.
Last question, is there like an approximate timeline? Say like, when does that lease expire? Like when might this, what are the developers' timelines when they're thinking of moving ahead with this?
It's still he's still got years left. I don't know if there's a current extension on that or not, but he is working in advance. So this doesn't have to happen overnight. He's got some years to plan.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments from the board?
I'm in agreement with Commissioner Marks that we should go ahead and kick it around. And right now at this level, there's no reason to be asking generalities like, should we make a swimming pool there? Everything should be first like kicked around to see how it would impact the entire township later on, because this wouldn't be just for this place. This would
Correct.
make everybody else eligible to ask for the same type of relief or whatever you want to call it. So right now, going to talk about it at L&L is okay with me, but that's all I want to be saying tonight.
For somebody that dresses like Santa Claus, that was very well put.
Sorry, I'll be goofy if you want.
Any other comments from the board? There being none, it gets moved to L&L.
Thanks for your time.
Discussion item, we've done that. But before I go to reports of public officials, as the board president, I think there's a couple, I know there's some end of year acknowledgements that have to be done. First, I want to thank the staff and employees for all of their dedication and hard work to get us through the year 2020 and all its issues, from COVID till you name it. It's been a handful, and I've leaned on the attorney pretty hard, and I've leaned on some of the bureau chiefs and things as things came up and moved along. And I just want to thank everybody for all the help they've given to get us through some of these things. I want to thank the police and the fire personnel for the just amazing job they've done through the year. I want to thank the boards and the commissions and the authorities. And I want to thank all the volunteers. They keep everything going forward. I want to thank this Board of Commissioners. Their cooperation in getting things done, I think, was utmost. And yes, we will always disagree on things. We will never agree totally on everything, but I think we fend our way through things. And I want to thank all of you. I think you've all done a wonderful job. It's been my honor to be the president of the board this past year. Looking forward to 2021. I'm looking forward to working together to achieve the goals and needs to serve all the residents of Whitehall Township. And most of all, and I think we all want to thank the residents for having the faith in all of us to do the right things for Whitehall. We want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and best wishes for the best of health to all the residents, staff, and employees of the township. And thank you for listening to me get through that. Moving forward, reports of public officials. Commissioner D, would you like to start?
Sure. Thank you, President Kinder. And I echo your sentiments. Thank you to the staff of Whitehall Township, everybody who worked so hard. I'm not going to repeat what you said. You said it well. But as the newest member of the board, I want to thank all the board members as well for your patience with me and for your guidance. And I really, I'm very proud to be on this board, and I'm proud to serve with each and every one of you. That being said, I have a couple of things here. And by the way, you mentioned how all the employees have struggled through the year. It's been a really rough year for everybody. It's been rough for me trying to be on these meetings. My laptop keeps freezing up on me, and so it's indicative of the whole year of 2020. And I hope it's a better year for everybody. I want to mention the Toys for Tots campaign. Marty Hacker at Remax in Whitehall. So far, they've collected at roughly an estimate of 7,000 toys. And I just want to thank the kindness of the residents of this township. Again, it's been such a rough, brutal year for all of us. And we tend to, a lot of people out there lost their jobs, are worried about rent. They're worried about putting food on the table. And the fact that the kindness has come through with people buying an extra toy and dropping it off. I was up in Lehigh Township this weekend. A friend of mine ran a Toys for Tots campaign up there. I think they filled 11 big bins full of toys. So the kindness of people is really coming through, and that's what makes this country and this township great. If you'd like to donate a new or used toy, it has to be new or used. They are still collecting them. They'd like to get everything in by next weekend. You could drop it off at the Remax building, 1080 Schott Avenue, corner of Schott and Mickley, across from the old Hackman's bookstore. You could just bring it in during the day, and we would appreciate any donations. But Marty and his staff, his daughter, they've done just such a wonderful job. They do it every year. Marty's an ex-Marine, and he really likes to give back, and he does a great job running this thing. It's just so impressive. I just don't remember this many toys being dropped off in the past in the lobby. And it's just, it really fills your heart with joy that people are thinking of other people that are less fortunate. So let's hope that all kids have a toy to open on Christmas Day. And quickly, Whitehall Copley Hunger Initiative. I don't know if people are aware of the great work that they do. Sherry Nochter, who also has an office in the Remax building. There's going to be a food pantry that's going to open in January, hopefully, at the St. John the Baptist Church in Stiles in the old cafeteria, well, the cafeteria of the old school building. So right now they're still trying to get everything organized, but they are still taking food donations. If you'd like to drop off a food donation, it will be collected, but hopefully, I think she's looking for maybe the second week in January to open the food pantry at St. John the Baptist Church in Stiles. And again, there are a lot of people hurting out there, and the volunteers have done great work. So 2 fantastic things going on at Whitehall that, again, really shows the kindness of our residents. And I want to thank everybody who thinks of other people who are a little less fortunate than they are and donate either Toys for Tots or food to the food pantry. So I just want to wish everybody a very happy holiday. I think we're all glad to see this year end, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. And I hope everybody out there, including my fellow Board of Commissioners, has a wonderful holiday season, and we go into the next year with a happy new year. So thank you very much for your time.
Commissioner Fisher.
Good evening. So kind of just a few quick things. I want to echo what President Ginder and Committee said for thanking the staff and everyone who just really makes this township work and function and operate. You guys truly are the ones who really help us through the year, and it's been an extremely difficult year. I don't think any one of us imagined 2020 was gonna go this way, but it's one of those years that we can remember. And I'd also like to, I kind of want to start out with the good news that has been brought up, which was today. We can say today is the first day that in the United States, the Pfizer vaccine has begun being jabbed into people's arms. People are beginning to are beginning to be getting inoculated in the United States, and I'd like to believe this is the beginning of the end. But just because the beginning of the end doesn't mean the end isn't going to stretch out. We are looking still at 4 to 5 to 6 months before this pandemic is actually under control. I mean, right now they were saying the frontline workers and people in nursing homes are going to be getting the vaccine. As we get into like January and February, we'll be looking at essential workers such as teachers, and then the rest of us, hopefully sometime by March or April. I do have faith in the vaccine. I have studied it extensively as a scientist. I've looked into it. When the vaccine is available, I will be taking it, and I strongly encourage everyone out there in Radio Land to take it as well. The only way we're going to beat this pandemic is through the vaccine. But as I said, since it's not until April or March that a lot of us are going to get it, I kind of just want to show these fun graphics. So this is the graphic that I showed last November of hospitalizations in the United States. At that point, hospitalizations were about a little under 50,000 people. 1 month later, I just printed this out tonight, hospitalizations are over 109,000 people in the United States as of tonight. So in 1 month, we have increased by over 50% the number of people in the hospitals. And these hospitalizations, I mean, if a hospital bed is full, people who are in car accidents, people who are sick, heart attacks, cancer, they're not getting better. They're not getting these beds. I mean, the fact of the matter is, we've still got a few more months before this pandemic is actually brought under control. So, I mean, as I said, like in November, my family, we did the whole Zoom webcam thing. Christmas might be worse. I mean, they're talking about that whole surge upon a surge. I just encourage everyone out there, use common sense, use the internet, use Zoom for family gatherings right now, use masks. Because, I mean, when this thing is over, when I have the vaccine, when everyone has the vaccine, I'm giving everybody a big hug because I think we all deserve it. So everyone stay safe. I look forward to a great 2021. And everyone take care of yourselves out there. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Attia.
Thanks, Phil. I know I'm not going to repeat a lot of what everybody else said, but I do want to just thank everybody. In my first year on the board, I can't thank the current board enough for answering questions that I've had all along. There was never a moment or a time where I felt like if I had to ask a question, that it would be a dumb question or a question that shouldn't be asked. It was always welcomed, and I appreciate you all for that. As well as the township employees, everybody that works hard day in, day out. This has been a quote that I just want to share that I try to live by. People don't care how much you know, but they know how much you in a year that we've all had. I think in an election year, there's been a lot of difference of opinions and things have been difficult at times to share opinions with others. But just going into 2021, that's my call to everybody, is to just try to stay together and continue to check on your neighbors, check on your friends, and just try to stay together and show people that you do care. So again, thank you all, and let's have a better year in 2021.
Thanks. Commissioner Warren.
Yeah, I just want to tag on to all the good things said about our volunteers, our staff, and everybody's endurance of this tough year. I can't say it any better. On another positive note, on the Whitehall Copley Hunger Initiative, back in August, we became aware of grant opportunity for CARES through the county, and we group of people, a number of us got together and put a grant request in and submitted that in October. And on late November, we were awarded the Whitehall Copley Hunger Initiative was awarded $217,000 from Lehigh County CARES funding. And most of that is going to expand that food pantry that Mick had referenced. $25,000 of that money is also earmarked for the Mickley Pride and Farm Garden, and that garden serves the Hunger Initiative. And the goal is to expand that. So in the next couple of weeks, some work will be getting done down there to prep for the expansion for the spring planting season. So that's all I have. I think it's positive news. We're always keeping our eyes open for opportunities, and And I want to tag on what Randy said. It's great that people care in Whitehall Township.
Thanks. Commissioner Sloniger.
Geez, I think everybody stole all my lines except when somebody said that they weren't worried about making stupid comments. I'll take all the stupid comments and give them credit to me. I just want the people in Whitehall to know how really hard all the personnel, the authorities, the boards, the commissions, how they had to work extra this year just to get through to get to this point in time. And there's not much you can say here, but I just want everybody to know that obviously with the inoculations coming out, that now there's better hope for everybody that we can get back to more normalcy. And also just remember to have one of the things you've left out, Phil, was you forgot to say Happy Hanukkah, and we're right in the middle of that right now. I think I'm on my third or fourth candle. I'm not sure which one. But Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, and Kwanzaa. I still don't know the whole deal with Kwanzaa, but somebody will tell me. And just remember to be thoughtful and kind to everybody. Everybody has things going on that you just have to give a little extra time and to get through with them. So thank you very much.
Just as a note, Commissioner Sloniger, I didn't hear anybody say, oh, 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 you missed that.
Well, that's because that's not until the 24th.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Unless you're sitting on my lap, Phil.
That ain't gonna happen. Commissioner Marks.
Well, with that being said, I don't even know what to say. Mr. D, I want to correct you on one thing. There's nothing called an ex-Marine. Okay. Just going to set the record straight there.
My apologies. Former Marine.
I just want to put this out there because sometimes the board president is the most neglected person in the township. I want to thank Mr. Ginder for his leadership with the very tough year we had and with everything that was going on. And I'm sure that he didn't expect this in his twilight years. But I want to thank you, Phil, personally for your leadership and everything you've done for the Whitehall Township. I think it means a lot to all of us. And you show compassion and caring and true leadership qualities. And thank you so much for everything that you've done. I want to thank the staff. That's without saying, all the bureau chiefs, all their employees, our police and fire administration. You know, phenomenal job. Let's keep everybody safe and happy holidays. That's all I have.
What twilight years?
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll be as brief as I can here. There's not much, but we did get a letter on December 3rd to the Board of Commissioners on behalf of CACLV, which is Community Action Committee of the Lehigh Valley and the Lehigh Valley Regional Homeless Advisory Board. They're thanking us for the $2,000 they got from Whitehall Township to the municipal fund appeal. This takes care of needs of a lot of vulnerable citizens in the Lehigh Valley. And, you know, no way could it cover all the needs, but you know, with everybody contributing towards this, it is a big help, and they're very thankful for the money they get from us. Is Frank Clark still with us?
Yep, I'm here.
Frank, are you on?
I'm here.
What's going on with Lehigh Avenue? Anything new and great?
Yeah, both new and great. We have the final design for the grade beam repair, and we'll be turning it over to a contractor this week to get some budget prices. And then hopefully by, I would say next week, we probably have those prices in place. We'll get back to Jack Myers on that, and we'll see where we are dollar-wise, but probably I would say beginning of the new year, we'd be ready to start the detour and get that work underway.
And how's PennDOT doing on Bridge Street?
From what I understand from Carl today, that they got a email from the design engineer at PennDOT, and they've agreed to go ahead and start that work on Bridge Street. And that way the homeowners can get their end of it started as well. So, and that's without any township involvement.
So they are going to do something and not just walk away from it.
Correct. That's my understanding from the email that Carl sent.
Now, what kind of time frame do you think? I know you can't talk for PennDOT. 5 years, 10 years till they get something started there, or would they function normally and try and get it straightened out before spring?
That I'm not certain of, Phil. I'm sure at this point they made the decision to move ahead without any township involvement. It's obvious that we weren't involved from a standpoint. It wasn't our right of way. It's not our road. And we certainly don't work on public or private property. So, the administration and Carl, they held their guns and said, we're not going to do anything. We have township has no involvement. And we held that. And I think PennDOT came around and realized that we weren't going to do anything. And the homeowner was certainly itching to get going. They have what's under contract to get their end of it done. So I think PennDOT realized they've got to get in gear and have their forces get out there and get it finished. So now the decision's been made. I don't know the timeline, but as soon as we know something, we could pass that on.
And the last one I have for you, Frank, is the storm pipe south of 22.
I did speak with Dave Harleman last week. He does, in fact, have all the inspection reports from their former engineers, Spot Stevens and McCoy, and he's in the process of reviewing those. He told me that he's under a lot of pressure with Leon County Authority and some of the other things he's working on over there. But I did emphasize to him, we've got to get this underway and repaired, and at least find the trail of how, if we can determine how it's happened. But we've got to get this underway, and he's holding it up at this point. So I let him know that.
Because when the snow melt starts in spring and all the spring rains come, and if this pipe's collapsed, it's going to be one hell of a mess.
Absolutely. We will be going down there beginning of the year to take another look at it and see if it's moved at all. We did take measurements, so that'll be the next thing. But it does takes a bit of work to get down in there. We'll keep an eye on it. The other end where the upstream of that's been successfully repaired at 2 Maryland Circle, so that's finished and complete. Sherman did a great job on that, so now we're just working our way through the other end.
All right. And earlier on, I forgot to say a huge thank you to all the department heads and departments. I really didn't, I missed this, and I normally don't. To say thank you for everybody watching their budget, bringing their budgets in a truly unremarkable, well, it was a remarkable year, but let me put it that way. Somehow we managed to monetarily get through this, and that's just the hard work of the department heads and the employees to get us through a bad year like this and get us through within budget, and we're all very thankful for that. In closing, I want to thank Brad for his help tonight. And our thoughts are with Chief Nelson. He had a small medical procedure done, I understand, and we wish him a quick recovery. Mayor's report.
Couple things to hit here, Phil. I want to note that the board's comments about our staff and things that have gotten done this year is well deserved by our staff. We've got 120 people or so who are out there every day working hard. And I think we have the best group of employees in the area. I had the pleasure of signing hiree notices to 2 officers in the police department, Sean Monahan and Kaylee Bethune. We hope to get them in front of you sometime in the very near future. And I want to thank, among others, the VFW, the Fullerton American Legion, and the Hockendackwa American Legion for the exceptional Veterans Day services that we had this year, and particularly highlighting the fact that we now have moved a new flag onto the pole out front, and that being the Space Force. We had a very wet but gratifying day doing that. I want to thank Chris Grimm for spending the time to help me get through the management program for the year for the emergency services. The Hunger Initiative, in addition to what they're doing up at St. John's and Stiles, are as Jeff noticed, are made you aware of. They are going to be expanding the vegetable garden down there, which is going to get a lot of people a lot of good food. Signed a license agreement to allow them to do that. And the DNL trail, we've been waiting for that to get closed, and unfortunately it looks like we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. Lehigh Valley Planning Commission had submitted a request for a build grant along with the Trestle organization, one of the properties down there along Riverside and Allentown. Was supposed to get money. Hopefully we would have gotten money to bring the DNL trail all the way up to Race Street. We're still working on that, and next week or this week we'll be doing a walk along that trail, assuming we can get through it with our snowshoes after Wednesday. Still trying to get that part of the trail done. Riverside Business Center had reached out to us hoping that we were going to put a new system addition to our stormwater management system. We've made them understand that it's their property, it's their responsibility, and we're moving forward working with them. The building is next door now. The public safety building is supposed to be buttoned up before the end of this month, so that they can continue to work throughout the winter. And I've been working on a long-awaited littering program. We've got to get things under control. So it's going to be something that I think is going to be interacting with the school district and volunteers throughout the township, hoping to get that underway this year. You guys have all made wonderful comments about the people in the township. I agree with you. We just keep working the golden rule and we'll get through everything well. That's about it for right now.
Thank you. Is there anybody here for the treasurer's report?
Colleen's still in the hospital.
Okay. Well, that being done, and does anybody have anything else?
Ho, ho, ho. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that did it.
Okay.
Anybody have anything else they wish to go over? Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make that motion, Fisher.
Do we have a second?
I'll second Mark's.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Stay well.
Take
Happy
care.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.